Hello everybody and welcome back to Herbies Garage. Today we're on the 2025 LIFAN KPT 400. I just finished doing a valve clearance check and adjustment video, and today's video is going to be about installing all the plastics and the front tip over bar or whatever you want to call it, that kind of stuff, getting it all back together. And I know you guys probably would have enjoyed a video of me taking it all apart. It might have been entertaining, but it probably wouldn't have been very educational. There was a lot of frustration going on, and I didn't know how some of these plastics were supposed to come off. I was pulling, tugging, moving, and I was afraid I was going to break something. Fortunately, I didn't, but it took me a lot longer to take it apart than what I thought it would. But now that I know how it comes apart, I can show you, and it'll be a lot easier and less frustration for you whenever you go to take yours apart to do your valve clearance check and adjustment. So let's go ahead and get started right away. Okay, this is the big monster in the room. And this was the hardest piece really to figure out, because for the life of me I couldn't figure out why this wouldn't separate from here, but it doesn't. I'll just let you know that now. I'm going to show you the inside of it. These are all screwed in from the inside on both sides. So these are not removable. This has to come off in one full piece like this. And it has one push pin right in the middle. The rest of it bolts around the edge of it. Okay, now we'll put this on. And we got to kind of center this over the gas cap on this seal. And then once you get that centered, then you can pop this over these posts up here in the front and back. Okay, now that we got that, we'll go ahead and get the back first. Okay, I think the back's down. Now this front needs to be realigned. There we go. Alright. So now it's back down. And I'll show you up here in the corner what I was talking about. Right here, up in the corner, it has these posts that come up through the plastic. It has one on this side, one on the other side, and one down here at the bottom right here that it slips into. Then over here on the other side it has one in the front, and then one back here in the back as well. So those have to pop down over those posts, and this pin in the middle has to go down. Once that's all down, you've got your cap centered on here. It should be all ready to put together. Now I'll put these screws in down here at the bottom first. Okay. We got one right here in the front. And these are the hidden ones because that panel goes over the top of this. So I know I don't put one in here because that top panel goes in there. These are going to be behind the panel, so I know I have to put some in there. And then there's another one down here underneath this coolant bottle. coolant reservoir bottle. I think that's a long one. Okay. And down here is another one. Same thing on this side. Okay, now we have to put this crash bar on before we put the side panels on. So there's a way to do this. You got to come from the left side like this, and you got to kind of work it in. It's kind of a tight fit. Once you get it close, kind of leave it there. And we'll just let it rest right there so we can move it if we need to put this panel on. Before we put this side panel on, there's an electrical connection that goes into this. I'm not sure what it is, but we want to be sure and hook it up. Okay, I'm going to show you everything on this panel. This has a screw here, has a couple of hooks in the front. It has a big hole that goes over a post, and a couple hooks here, a couple hooks here, and a bracket with a bolt in at the bottom down here. That's what this has. And these two hooks right here go up into these two slots, and the whole thing has to go backwards in order to lock it in. So let's go ahead and hook up this wire first. Alright, then we'll line everything up. This has to go on the inside. Kind of hard to get everything in position, but you just kind of got to eyeball everything. Okay, now that I got that in, put one of these screws up here to hold it all together. Now this one back here is a JIS, Phillips, however you want to say, but this is a smaller one. Okay. There we go. And that'll hold that good and tight on there. It's got one screw. It's got 10 or 8mm bolt at the bottom. And it's got another screw hole over there. It's got a couple of hooks. Those go on top just like the other side. So it's pretty much the same. So now we're going to slide it in here between the frame. And then we're going to try to line these hooks up first. And then it's got a couple in the front that you got to line up with the headlight as well. And you got to line it up back here in the back all at the same time. But there we go. That all went together pretty nicely. So then we'll move this over. Oh, move this down first, then move it over. Now I'll put this bolt in it to hold it. And we'll put this bolt in it up here at the top to hold it. Alright, and then we'll move this down, line it up, and put the screws back in it. And I'll tighten these up. Yeah, that one's tight. And that one's tight. This bar is kind of in the way. There we go. And I got another JIS screw goes in here. And then down here at the bottom is an 8mm. Go. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach this bar, and this is an Allen head bolt, hex head bolt, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of thread locker on it. We don't want it coming loose. I guess it helped I had the right size socket on it. Alright, we're just going to loosely put this in. Then we'll go to the other side. Same thing on this. Put a little blue thread locker on it. Okay. Okay, now we got these two bolts that go up in here. And same thing on these. We're going to put a little bit of thread locker on them, blue. And we'll lift it up. Hopefully put the bolts in it. Okay, there's one. Gotta tuck those ends in on the ends. And then there's two screws. When you tighten these down, you gotta make sure you're putting pressure that way so it holds the joint tight. Okay. Alright, now I'll finish tightening this. There we go. Now I'll put the cap back on it. Okay, good as new. Alright, I'll put a bolt up here. And one up here at the top. Way up underneath the fender here is another one. It's a JIS or Phillips, whatever you got. Alright, I'll do it for this side. Okay, finish tightening this one. That's good and tight. Put the cap on it. Alright, so now we'll put this one in. Now see, the part that you have to slide underneath here, there's another one of them posts, like it was under there and right there, and you have to go over that post to lock it on. And then it's got a little tab here at the end that's got to fit in too. Yeah, that worked a lot easier on this side. And lock those two pieces together down. Okay, now we have one bolt that goes up here on the tank. And that holds that down in the front. Then there's a plastic piece that's got a couple of holes on the edges, and then it's got a couple of things that slide in these holes right here. So we'll line this up and slide it in. There we go. It's all popped in. And then after you get that popped in, it just has a couple of pins. If you're not familiar with these, whenever these pins are in there, to release the pin, all you have to do is push the center part in like that, and it will release it. Then you can pull the whole thing out. Then whenever you go put it back in, you put it in like that with it up, set it in the hole like that, and then just push it in and you're done. They're called push pins or pop pins. They're real easy to use. You have one on each corner. There we go. All you have left to do is put these two bolts back in, then we'll be done, I think. Get that out of the way. Make it a little easier on ourselves. Kind of tight quarters in there. See if I can get this in there. Now that's not in there straight. You can always tell when it's not going in straight because it goes in really hard. There we go. Now all we have left to do is put the seat on. Well, it's all back together. Let's see if it starts. Sounds good too. Well, that'll complete the valve clearance check and adjustment videos. Hopefully showing these panels will help you to understand how they come off, how they go on, and things like that. All I can tell you is it's not an easy thing to do because there's certain spots on here that you have to pry, and you're always afraid you're going to break the plastic or something. You have to pry it off of like them little I don't know what you call them, little pegs. You got to set over and pull them off. And you got to remember, it's got a push pin right here. You got a bolt underneath this cover in the front. I showed you everything you need to see, whenever I put this back together. So hopefully if you have to do this, or when you have to do this, or if you have somebody else do it and they need to know, what it looks like and how to take it off, then they can see this video. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you coming along. I hope it was all helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, leave me a comment. I'll see you in the next one.